welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as my iRacing screen should finally appear at some point in. It's all gone wrong somehow. It's that there should be a game to capture, but alas, after some technical problems, as in my Windows decided to update, we have some more technical problems. So we'll be right back fixing that up. Well, it's all gone very wrong apparently. Alright, well, I'll just restart the stream. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are, luckily for us, on the formation lap. Which also means the start procedure took a little bit longer, but we are back for the 5th round here at the NXTGP Porsche Carrera Cup. You can't see the full name because the 5 currently black lights are at the title. Anyways, we're driving at Road America. As you can see, the virtual Road America, fantastic American circuit. IndyCar races on it, NASCAR has raced on it, you name it. IMSA, you name it. It's an amazing track. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 7 Porsches around this 6.4 kilometer track is going to be an absolute spectacle. And the temperature is 33 degrees. That's not hotter than it is in my room currently. It's about 38 degrees in the Netherlands at the minute. That aside, these drivers will have it in their cockpits much warmer. My name is Daan van Zutphen. I will be your commentator today, and we will almost lead turn 1. Who will lead turn 1? I hear you ask. That will be Samuel Suopanki. He has qualified his car on pole position, and he will lead the field into turn 1 next to Felix Votter, who just didn't get pole position. Well, 2 20-minute races, probably a little bit less than that, because heat 1 is already underway. The safety car goes in now. When do the red lights go out, and when does this 20-minute race around America go underway? Samuel Suopanki
green flag.
gets his foot down to the floor, and away we go. Felix Votter immediately has some competition at the back. That name is Tijmen Elkhuizen after a return here. Hendrik Lichtenhagen looking up the inside of Tijmen Elkhuizen. All good so far. Hendrik Lichtenhagen has had a turbulent season, but a good season nonetheless. Thomas Kula, the Slovakian driver, on the outside there, in towards turn 1, is probably going to lose that position to Julian Thijs. Has actually the overspeed, but now it's going to be interesting for the lead in this race. Samuel Suopanki in towards turn 3, needs to defend to Felix Votter. Tijmen Elkhuizen has a little bit of a sniff, but can't quite get there. Felix Votter has the better exit in towards turn 4. Suopanki needs to do it around the outside, which is doable, but the Finnish driver can't do it this time. Tijmen Elkhuizen swoops around the outside, gets P2 as well. Samuel Suopanki now needs to be aware for Hendrik Lichtenhagen at his right hand side in a purple machine. And it's all gone wrong, almost all gone wrong, losing a little bit of time there. Hendrik Lichtenhagen Contact was made between Suopanki and Lichtenhagen. Turbulent start so far for Lichtenhagen, but all good as he exits turn 8. Now with a very fierce German at the back of his Porsche Supercup. Number 55 needs to look in his rearview mirrors because there comes Julian Thijs. Wants a look down the inside, it's just not enough for Thijs in a 999 car. So he has to reset. And also look in his mirrors at the same time. The blue and black car of Thomas Kula is kind of knocking at the door. The fight for P4 is completely ablaze. Julian Thijs is looking but in towards that fast right-hander over turn 1. It's also difficult. Little bit of a mistake there by Julian Thijs, but seems to be able to hold off the Slovakian for now. In towards turn 3. Once more, are we going to see any moves into that very sharp left-hander, almost 90-degree turn? Holding transformation, holding station. Everybody eager to await their chance, to get their chance. Slow down for Thomas Kula. You can see that on the timing board at the left top. He has a yellow icon behind his name. Needs to let Niklas Welle by. All this good work undone for the Slovakian. Needs to overtake Niklas Welle now as soon as possible to get any chance for a better position. In the slipstream, always dangerous at Road America. A lot of flare-out driving, a lot of straights here at this American track. Stays behind the German driver for now. To get it towards the inside of turn 1. Niklas Welle doesn't make it all too difficult, leaves the door open, and that's another spot gained for Thomas Kula. Actually, the German might want to come back, decides better of it, slots back in formation. Down in last place it is for Niklas Welle. A little bit of a wiggle at that rear end for Thomas Kula. Alright, 5 minutes. We've already driven here at this fabulous American track. It's funny, with American tracks, you don't really have names for corners, as a matter of fact. You only have on Road America, you have some names. We obviously now enter the carousel. It's turn 9 and turn 10, followed by the kink, which comes after the very long right-hander. In some cars, this kink very difficult to get flat out. Not quite sure if it's flat in this Porsche Supercup, given the Porsche Supercup isn't known for having a lot of downforce. Felix Volter bridging the gap between P2, P3, keeping his win secure. I'm quite sure maybe if he wins both rounds he already has the championship in the balance. Tijmen Elkhuizen now in front of Samuel Suopanki. He got that position earlier in the race. Not too long ago. Little bit of a mistake for Suopanki in lap 2. Cost him dearly, cost him not only his first position but also his second place spot. But he's less than a tenth away from Tijmen Elkhuizen. What does that mean? Does Elkhuizen defend or does he give Samuel Suopanki all the room to play with? The answer is Suopanki gets all the room, gets to the inside. Elkhuizen doesn't want to make his life too difficult, still hangs around the outside though. The Dutchman still thinks he has a chance, maybe a little cheeky cutback. That's too much to ask for Elkhuizen. Samuel Suopanki gets up to P2. And they certainly want to chase down the leader. Oh, Tijmen Elkhuizen. I want to say bump and run, but he actually made a bump and run on himself. Touching the rear of Samuel Suopanki and just losing the car just for a tiny moment. Might have lost the slipstream to Samuel Suopanki, although he is coming closer. Let's see how this fight unfolds. Let's see if Tijmen Elkhuizen can get back in touch with the Finnish driver just in front of him. Well, the determined Dutchman certainly is closing in just a little bit. Not too much, but just 2 tenths in, already almost a lap. Julian Thijs might need to look in his rearview mirrors. Why, you may ask? Well, Thomas Kula is already almost at the back of the 999 Porsche car. He's inching closer, certainly not every turn. Made a mistake there. Well, there's the gap back up again. 9 tenths of a second. Was 6 tenths of a second a few corners ago. Minutes has passed. 10 minutes has passed and, well, these 7 drivers seem to still be quite close to each other. See, Thomas Kula, despite starting last, well, not starting last, but having that mistake, falling back to last, was only 7.6 seconds behind the leader, Felix Votter, which makes him only around 5 seconds behind Samuel Suopanki. Well, what do you want to know? Very difficult track to master in North America. A lot of grass to play with. How patient is Thomas Kula? 2 tenths behind Julian Thijs. Awaits his chance, but perhaps eagerly. Julian Thijs feeling Thomas Kula in his rearview mirrors. Niklas Werle getting a slowdown, making him fall back even more. It's going to be difficult to retain that P5 in towards turn 12, Canada corner after that very long straight. After the kink we're about to enter. 2 tenths only is the gap from P6 to P5. Silver against bronze drivers. Thomas Kula might want to attack this time around. 2 tenths, it's almost 1 tenth. Perhaps a daring moves on the brakes. And he still awaits his chance. Still falling back a little bit. Still trailing the spoiler of that triple line Porsche Super Cup car with just about 7.5 minutes remaining. 2 tenths is the gap. Julian Thijs had a little bit of a better exit out of the last turn. And I'm afraid it's not going to be enough once again for Thomas Kula. Not on this straight at least. 2 tenths again if Julian Thijs keeps up and gains on Thomas Kula in all the right places. Then maybe the German driver actually has some luck, but he didn't get the greatest exit out of turn 2. Does that mean that Thomas Kula can finally go for a move down the inside? The German driver does take a defensive line, so the Slovakian driver on the left has to go around the outside, if that's even possible, in towards turn 3. Maybe a little bit of a cheeky cutback. Does he have a nose in between the apex and Julian Thijs? The answer to that question is no. And thus this fight continues. And thus Thomas Kula still drives just behind Julian Thijs. Well, it's going to be interesting, purely for the fact that there are only 6 minutes remaining. If Julian Thijs can keep this up, then he can get a few more points on the board. He's going to win the bronze drive, bronze category, this round at least. Why? There's only one bronze driver, and that's Julian Thijs. Surprisingly, gaining time on Timon Alkaiser. He had a good exit, Thomas Kula. 2 tenths of a second, goes down to 1 tenth. Going to be enough to get a wheel at the side of the German driver. Julian Thijs defends. Thomas Kula wants to take the best line for himself around the outside of turn 1. It's ambitious, it is brave, contact is made, and Thomas Kula into the wall. Julian Thijs not into the wall, but spinning nonetheless. Thomas Kula, where is the man? Where is he on track? And that's a damaged front end, and I'm afraid that's simply race over for Thomas Kula. Let's have a look at that again. Around the outside, this is the onboard view of Thomas Kula. It really seemed like there wasn't a lot he could do actually. Let's see if he can have another view of it. It seems that Julian Thijs is maybe got a little bit of understeer on exit. Perhaps we can view it at with the blimp. Maybe above a little bit. So let's say take the chopper. Oh no, there are trees blocking our view sadly, so that party won't go through. Alright, well, race over. In any case, for Thomas Kula, Julian Thijs in P6 might have gotten a little bit of damage. Don't see any significant damage on his car. But Julian Thijs will not get a position. Will not get a position more, nonetheless. Well, Niklas Werlich suddenly finds himself in P5 after gaining 2 places. Sometimes the only thing you have to do is drive to score some solid points, and well, the proof is there. Niklas Werlich does it. Tijmen Elkhuizen is out of his groove, or perhaps Hendrik Lichtenhagen is into his groove. Hendrik Lichtenhagen inching closer and closer to the car of Tijmen Elkhuizen. Stays 6/10 at this 14 long corner track. Curbs are being shattered. Tires are being shredded. Positions, not so much though. At this point in time, one lap is about 2 minutes long. I can assure you this is going to be the last lap for Felix Votter and the whole grid. But Felix Votter, having done absolutely nothing at all, except drive really fast. Samu Supanki has closed the gap just a little bit, but let's be fair, Felix Votter doesn't really need to push at this point in time. The man for Pole Promotion Esports was driven in the 24 Hours series at Kota not too long ago, and now he's going to win. As he does a little drift, probably already out of celebration, or perhaps some traction loss, you name it. Certainly no doubt, unless he makes a grave mistake, Felix Votter will not win this race, but he probably will. 1.6 seconds is the gap, and Lichtenhagen hasn't been able to come closer to Tijmen Elkhuizen. He's been in the slipstream, he's been gaining time. Again, as I said, inching closer. It's almost a battle about thousandths of a second instead of tenths. And Lichtenhagen does have the benefit of the slipstream, but 5 tenths is simply not going to be enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not for nothing that Felix Votter is your championship leader. And even though the gap doesn't seem so big to Samu Suopanki, it's been quite the dominant race once again. 20 minutes he has led over the line. He's going to take win number, I'm not really sure where we are already, but Felix Votter wins the first race at the 5th round of the season. Samu Suopanki gets in second place. Tijmen Elkhuizen finishes with only a margin of 0.3 of a second on the final podium spot. followed by Hendrik Lichtenhagen, followed by Niklas Werler. Julian Thijs, some 13 seconds, he will finish behind Niklas Werler after having that incident with Thomas Kula. There is the Slovakian driver, also coming to the last turn, still getting some points. Damage limitation perhaps for the Slovakian. Well, that is the first race in the 5th round done here, and we still have one to go with a completely reversed grid. So that means Thomas Kula, he will start on pole position. Perhaps redemption for the Slovakian driver is imminent. We'll be back though in about 5 minutes. First a small break, and then we'll be back for the penultimate round and the final, or penultimate 20-minute race I should say, of the season. See you in 4 minutes and 30 seconds time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for yet another race here. The last race of this 5th round in the championship. Instead of a rolling start, or instead of a standing start, we'll have a rolling start. Which takes about 5 minutes at this already 2-minute long track. So I'll just leave you with the cars and their beautiful engine sound. Warming up your tires is absolutely key. Thomas Kula does have some buffers towards Samuel Suopanki and Felix de Vlodder. Those are going to be his main competitors. If he manages to break away from Julian Thijs, and Julian Thijs isn't too shy of defending towards his other competitors at the back, which are probably a little bit faster, except for Nicolas Werler. He's been hanging there about, but hasn't been able to actually make a difference in the positioning of Julian Thijs or Thomas Kula. It's certainly going to be interesting. To see how this reverse grid race unfolds, the penultimate reverse grid race of the season. Next round we'll close the season off in Zandvoort. Beautiful track. And then this NXTGP Porsche Carrera Super Cup. Deutschland, I should add, has come to an end. It hasn't yet though. There are still battles to be won, races to be raced, podiums to be achieved. Well, Thomas Kula will lead the field in towards turn 1. When does he decide to put his right foot down? Thomas Kula on the left, Julian Thijs on the right in his white Suzuki Cup. And how will this race be decided as Thomas Kula finally
green flag
gets his foot on the throttle? Nicolas Werler has had a fantastic start on the inside, already almost past Julian Thijs. Nicolas Werler, Julian Thijs. Thijs on the outside, Werler on the inside. Oh, that's Hendrik Lichtenhagen into the wall after having a little bit of a spin. Damage for Tijmen Elkhuizen. His car is absolutely battered. Let's see if he can still continue. I don't think he can. That car, I think he has too much suspension damage. We'll have a look at the replay, but for now, Julian Thijs against Thomas Kula once again. Niklas Welle on the inside, wanting that P2 spinning as well. Well, that's going to make life a lot easier for Felix Water. If everyone, like the opposite of a magnet, is just absolutely saying, "Through you go, sir," on towards P1. Let's have a little look at what happened then. Diamond Alkaiser crashed. Oh, well. There it is, but I don't seem to have a proper replay of it, sadly. Alright, yeah, well, that's the most replay you're going to get, I'm afraid. Oh, there we have it. There we have it. Ah, so Hendrik Lichtenhagen also makes contact with Samuel Suopanki. Let's see if the Finnish driver has any damage. As alright, there we are. Well, the fight for the podium spot for the win is on, because Felix Water name is being mentioned. And when you mention Felix Water in his NXT Championship, it'll be most likely because he's going to fight for the top positions, or because he's leading. He's a championship leader after all. Felix Water coming into turn 2, absolutely on the rear of Julian Thijs. He will make short work of Julian Thijs, I'm quite confident, and Thijs knows it. Or is he going to defend? The German driver is going to defend, which means Felix Water needs to take the outside line in towards turn 3. Down on the brakes. Does he have enough momentum to swoop around the outside? Swoop around the outside of the German. Still around the outside, so he still needs to do some work. Julian Thijs isn't going to give this one up so easily. But one time outside, second time outside is the lucky. And indeed, he makes the move stick. One time around the outside, a second time around the outside, and the third one will be lucky because that he will then go around the inside. Well, Felix Water already chasing down Thomas Kula after not even 2 entire laps of this 20-minute race. Fight for the wooden spoon, as they say in England. Hendrik Lichtenhagen and Niklas Welle. Lichtenhagen, I think he does have a little bit of rear wing damage. Funnily enough, so does Niklas Welle. So they're practically still driving with 2 identical cars. Perhaps some active error. Well, I mean, the right-hand side of the car of Hendrik Lichtenhagen isn't looking all that great. Samuel Suopanki finds his chance to the inside, had a better exit out of turn 14. Julian Thijs can't fight this one all the way because Suopanki is definitely going to make this move stick with the nature of this corner. But perhaps Thijs can come back at the very long back straight. Only 1/10 is the gap to Julian Thijs. Is the German going to send one down the inside? The answer is he's looking, he sends one down the inside. Suopanki needs to leave him the space. The Finnish are probably not too happy with the German driver taking this fight upon him. Still side by side, Suopanki has the inside. Now it's a deja vu, but this time with Suopanki for Julian Thijs. Still alongside though, the 999 car. Surely it's finished this time around. Little bit of a touch. And well, Felix Water are on the outside of Thomas Kula for the lead. Surely into the carousel. He can't keep this up. He cannot keep this up. He can keep this up. Swooping around the outside. Felix Votter taking the lead in absolute style. Oh, going off actually. Carrying too much speed into turn 11. Does that give the Slovakian driver a final chance to retaliate down the inside of turn 14? Doesn't go for it. Decides to keep his valuable P2. That overtake, because I found it absolutely fantastic. Felix Votter right around the outside of Thomas Kula. Something you haven't seen in America, in Road America, for a very long time. First time I've seen it in two equal cars. Fantastically done by Felix Votter. Absolutely fantastic move, perhaps move of the season, we'll see. The fight for the wooden spoon is getting closer and closer. Well, Henrik Lichtenhagen is also getting closer to Niklas Weller, the German driver in the 509 Porsche Super Cup, in that green and black colored Porsche Super Cup we've seen all season long, and even more than only this season. Does Niklas Weller have enough experience under his belt to keep the other German at bay? It's going to be a contest, that's for sure. Especially with the damage Henrik Lichtenhagen has picked up after the spun and the incidents he caused in towards turn 1 at the beginning of this race. He has 12 minutes to do so, and to get a little bit closer to the back of that 509 Porsche Super Cup. Well, to give you an update on the standings currently, as we keep an eye on this fight, Felix Votter is leading the championship by 28 points. I'm actually not sure if it's been as a matter of fact, I'm lying to you, because the standings haven't been updated since round 4? Round 3. Round 3. Well, I'm not gonna do the math, but Felix Votter has won most races out there, so quite sure he's not championship leader. He's probably champion after this round, but we'll get confirmation after the race, I'm quite sure. Meanwhile, this fight is still going on. No sign of this stopping as well, unless Henrik Lichtenhagen gets a move on. I want you to look very closely to the purple car of Lichtenhagen, because when you look at that left hand side, now it's going to be his right hand side, Henrik Lichtenhagen is losing or has lost the mirror. He only has the left mirror, but his right mirror is gone. Well, probably the best weight reduction and aero kit you can have, except for his rear wing being a little bit bent, but it's the same for Niklas Weller. Something happened with Felix Votter, because the gap has gone down increasingly. We knew this. Alright. Well, something's happened with Felix Votter, but we don't really know what. Purely for the fact that he's losing time, or just lost a little bit of time, to Thomas Kula, unless I'm wrong. Let's have a little bit of a look. Well, the gap definitely has gone down last lap. Surely it was about a second, but it has gone down by quite some margin. Thomas Kula then surprisingly able to keep up with the 10k driver just ahead of him. He's not close enough for a move, Thomas Kula. But he definitely has the pace to be able to keep this P2 for the entire remainder of his race. Still driving at the back of Nicolas Welle. Not to mention Julian Thijs and Samuel Suopanki are also still in this race. Oh, as I think the server has crashed. Or Samuel Suopanki. No. It's I'm not really sure what happened there. Anyways. After me receiving some technical problems, we have some driving problems for Hendrik Lichtenhagen. Let's see what's happened there. Hendrik Lichtenhagen in battlements with Nicolas Welle. Contact between the two. Bit silly, to be honest. Both just... that my PC perhaps has some struggles to keep up with this live stream. After all, my room is about 40 degrees. But we're still racing, and Felix Votter is still in the lead, and Samuel Suopanki is still in P3. Well, things that are unavoidable in life. Death, taxes, and Felix Votter leading your NXTGP Porsche Carrera Complex race. And so we have almost 4 minutes remaining, about 2 laps. After this lap we have 2 laps remaining. Last race at the Nordschleife, We had 7 minutes of driving extra. Because a Nordschleife lap takes around 7 minutes. Go watch it. It was a fantastic race. Go watch it back if you haven't already. Especially the second race, filled with chaos, filled with excitement. I'm not sure if the server is having some issues or if it's my PC. I think it's my PC, but we received some stutters. We still have 4 minutes remaining, so we're just rolling with it at this point. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this fifth round in NXTGP. Felix Votter still in the lead. Where was I with my story? The Nordschleife. It took a bit. They had a 10. Felix Votter had a 10-second margin to make it 1 lap extra, which on the Nürburgring is obviously 7 minutes longer. So we basically had 2 30-minute races instead of 2 20-minute races. Well, you can never have enough of the Nordschleife, can you? Thomas Kula has dropped down just a little bit. Not sure what happened to Thomas Kula. Same counts for Samuel Suapanki. Perhaps Felix Votter had enough and decided to actually step on it. Coming through that carousel. Let's have a little bit of a replay of that fantastic overtake Felix Votter. Made sure he passed Thomas Kula around the outside in the carousel. Fantastic move. You don't see that very often. Only drivers from really high caliber can make such a move. It wasn't perfect, as Felix Votter did need a little trip through the gravel. But it was a great move nonetheless. An update on the standings then. Which I couldn't give because the standings were incomplete. Don't look at me. Perhaps in the Discord after next round we can find some. One lap to go, one final lap to go. An improvement for Niklas Werlich, a personal best. And 1 lap to go for all of these 6 drivers. Felix Votter has driven dominantly with resistance. As a matter of fact, Samuel Suapanki is finally putting some pressure on Thomas Kula. But I'm afraid it's all going to be too late for the Finnish driver. Well, if we if we get the finish, then I'm happy enough, and that my PC can rest. Niklas Werlich still running in a top 5 spot. Suabanki getting closer to Thomas Kula, but it won't be enough. It certainly won't be enough to catch this guy. He's been dominant all season long. He was dominant last time around. Won it by only 1.8 seconds. Well, it's more than double now. Felix Rotter, he's not your champion yet, but he is likely to be heading into the final round as your dominant championship leader. Felix Rotter wins yet again, followed by Thomas Kula, followed by Samuel Suabanki, who this time around takes home a P3 instead of a P2. Thomas Kula will be delighted with that second place, only losing one position compared to his starting position. Niklas Werler in P5, followed by Hendrik Lichtenhagen. He has finished in P5 actually. Niklas Werler in P6 and P4. Julian Thijs in P6, and Tijmen Elkhuizen did not finish the race. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure to host this penultimate round at the NXTGP iRacing Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, and we will end the race at Zandvoort in 2 weeks' time.